The reason why I came up with this whole thing, I was working with a student years and years and years ago, and she had writer's block because every time she wanted to write when she was at home, her father would hang over her shoulder and hit her in the head every time she made a mistake. And so when she sat down to write papers, she sat down with an empty screen and had anxiety attacks. She could not write. And so we changed the writing process, the steps that she went through. And I had her brainstorm with me, and she talked it out. And then I had her do a little organizational chart. And then I said, okay, next time you come back in, I want to see all the quotes that you're going to use for these different sections. She could do that. She came in, look at all these beautiful quotes and everything. Okay? She had the bibliography running at the end of it. I said, okay, now start just phrasing things a little bit. You know, these headings and subheadings. Just write a little bit about the phrases that you would, how you would start that section. She came back. She had, I don't know, I think she had an 8-page paper. And by the time it was done, her expanded outlines were like 6 pages long. And then I said, okay, now I want you to basically give me a lecture. And because her expanded outline was so large, she just started talking. And this was before naturally speaking and voice recognition software. She talked into a computer, into a tape recorder. And then I said, okay, now I want you to just go type this like your secretary. And she could do that too. And so that's how I sort of came up with this whole process of you got to really do these steps, invest a lot of time in these, and then the language step is going to be really easy. And it's not going to be stress invoking as it could be. Okay? So that's sort of how I came to it. So it's an idea process with some very, very powerful steps before you even write anything. Does it make sense? Okay. What I find is that students do not break these pieces down very well, and they don't put them in their time management book. Remember the procrastination plan that I gave you, the contract? You can use this to work backwards, okay? So if it's due on the 30th, right, let's say it's a 5-page paper. It's only going to take you maybe 2 weeks or so. If it's due on the 30th, that means you have to edit it maybe the 28th, right? And so you need to start your language, you know, maybe 4 or 5 days. So this is the 23rd, you need to start your language. And then from here to here, maybe you need a couple of days for that. So maybe you have to start your organization on the 20th. And then brainstorming, maybe you start it on the 18th or so. And then you stick in some appointments with the professor, you stick appointments in here for the writing center, and all of a sudden you've worked backwards from the due date and you've put these things in your schedule and when you have to do them. Instead of waiting till the 28th to write the whole darn thing. Because if you do that, then chances are you're going to go to your default, whatever that is. For a lot of students, it's turning on the computer and going to write. Okay? And what I would really recommend to people is that even if you're going to do an all-nighter for a paper or a 2-day paper, go through these steps anyways. Invest time in these steps. Don't go to the default of just sort of writing it. Start to learn how to change the process by which you do this. Okay? Because when you get out into the world of work or you get into grad school, you're going to have to really change the way that you go through these, or you're going to have a crisis every time you have to write a paper. Okay? So that's how I kind of use breaking things into pieces to help you with procrastination. And also, that's why you need a real foundation for time management, right? If you don't have time management, you can't work backwards and put these in your daily planner so that you know that on the 18th of September, you're working on these things, right? And you put in a half an hour here and a half an hour there, and then by the 20th, now you have to put a couple of half an hour time blocks in for your organization. And then you're moving down here. So that's why so many things, the foundation is time management.